In this video, we are going to talk about 7 questions you must ask before getting married. Please subscribe to our channel Treely for more videos. If you and your significant other have been together for some time, you may have started to consider whether or not getting married would be a healthy next step for your relationship. There are a few questions that, according to the recommendations of various authorities, you and your prospective spouse ought to discuss prior to getting married in order to determine whether or not it is the right time to take the next step. You might think it goes without saying, but the moment you start talking to your partner about getting engaged, you should inquire as to whether or not they have any reservations about getting married. This is a great question that leaves room for the answer to be anything, and it can help the two of you figure out what problems you need to solve before committing to getting married. Adina Mahalli, MSW, a certified relationship expert and mental health consultant, tells Bustle that it is preferable to ask this question before getting engaged as opposed to right before walking down the aisle. Before you get legally married, the two of you need to have a conversation about whether or not there are any factors that make your relationship unhealthy. It's possible that this will look very different for each couple. For example, perhaps your partner has some reservations about starting a family in the future and worries that if the two of you get married, those reservations will become a source of contention between the two of you. If you and your partner aren't quite ready for marriage, having this conversation before getting engaged can give you both the opportunity to really thoroughly discuss solutions for any worries, as well as the time to put the marriage on hold if either of you isn't quite ready. The following are some questions regarding marriage that you and your partner ought to discuss, as recommended by various authorities. Number 7. What does it mean for you to get married? It is essential in this day and age to determine what the concept of monogamy means for each individual person. According to relationship and sex therapist Margot Reagan, who works with couples before they get married, communication is key. It's possible that your partner is wary of marriage as a result of the nasty divorce that their parents went through, or it's possible that a previous fiancé broke off an engagement with them. According to Reagan, one of the most insightful questions you can ask your prospective spouse is whether or not they have ever been the victim of a betrayal in a previous relationship. It can be an indication of how readily your partner places their trust in others and of whether or not they view marriage as a long-term commitment or as something less serious. Number 6. What are your opinions regarding religion? It is important to inquire about the individual's perspective on the matter, even if neither you nor your partner is currently active in a religious practice. For example, if they were brought up in a religious household, when you decide to have children in the future, they may want to continue some of the cultural traditions that they were brought up with. It's possible that the couple wants to include religious observances in your wedding ceremony, either for themselves or for the benefit of their parents. According to Reagan, if there are differences, it's important to talk about this, and she emphasizes the word if. It is extremely important to decide in advance whether or not you will both practice a religion as part of your shared life before getting married, so that disagreements on the subject do not arise in the course of your marriage. Number 5. What is your approach to financial matters? The different ways in which partners choose to spend their money is a common source of tension in relationships. Even though you probably have a good idea whether your partner is a big spender or prefers to save before getting engaged, it is still a good idea to ask them how they feel about money, advises Reagan. It is not necessary for the two of you to maintain a joint bank account once you are married. However, deciding in advance who will pay for which expenses can help you avoid disagreements in the future. It's perfectly fine if you and I don't exactly share the same ideas. Conflict is a sign of a healthy relationship, she says. It is acceptable for you and your partner to hold different opinions. Nevertheless, making those viewpoints publicly known will provide you with the opportunity to think of solutions that are applicable to your situation. Number 4. What do you wish to become? Even though you and your significant other are probably head over heels in love with one another and can't wait to make your relationship official, it's possible that you and your partner haven't had a direct conversation about the kind of future you and your partner would like to have together. Would one of you be interested in moving to a different country for a period of time together with the other? Do you have a secret ambition to start your own company in the next few years and give up the job you're currently working? Which sounds better to you, an entire household full of children or none at all? According to what Reagan recommends, you should first inquire about the hopes and ambitions of your partner before determining whether or not they align with your own. Number 3. How would you describe your ideal balance between work and life? There are some people who feel so strongly about the work that they do that they are content to arrive at the office early and stay there until late in the evening. They derive such satisfaction from the contribution that they are making that they are content to give up some of their leisure time. Others consider a job to be little more than a source of income. According to Reagan, you should inquire of your prospective future spouse what they consider to be an appropriate work-life balance. Even though you may already have a pretty good idea of how they feel about it based on the amount of time that the two of you have spent together, taking a moment to verbally express the order in which your priorities stand can help you both get on the same page. Number 2. Are there any problems that you have with my family? You have no choice but to find out the answer to this question, even though it could be challenging for you to ask and could be even more challenging for you to answer. According to Adina Mahalli, MSW, a certified relationship expert and mental health consultant, who spoke to Bustle about this topic. If your partner has some underlying issues with your family, then that may be something you want to work out before you tie the knot, says one possible solution to this potential problem. While it is likely that your partner will eventually have to interact with members of your family, if you take the time to discuss any concerns with them before the wedding, you will have the opportunity to consider ways in which they can get along. Knowing that your partner has made an effort to communicate with members of your family who will be attending the wedding can provide you with a significant amount of mental relief. Number 1. Do you have any obligations? No one wants to admit that they are in debt, but it's an extremely important conversation to have, even if it's awkward, Mahalli says. No one wants to admit that they are behind on their payments. If you and your partner intend to share financial responsibilities, it is essential that you have a clear understanding of the total amount of money that will be required to cover expenses such as car payments, student loans, and medical bills. According to Mahalli, this is something that should absolutely be brought up a very long time before the actual day of the wedding, because the cost of a wedding is guaranteed to bring additional costs. In addition, in an honest and open marriage, it is not a healthy habit to conceal something as significant as financial obligations. Even if the person you want to marry is sitting right there in front of you, broaching some of these awkward subjects with them can be an extremely nerve-wracking experience. However, before you start, it's important to clear your mind, take a few moments to breathe deeply, and then dive right in. In the long run, it may prove to be quite profitable. What do you think about this video? Do let us know down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.